the last Bork. Thank you for joining us. You're going to watch me tweet about this because I forgot to do that before hitting the go live button. So today we're joined by 4 new characters who are all really lovely people. And while I'm tweeting about this, they're going to introduce their characters. Why don't we start with Triss?
Yeah, my name's Triss. I like to punch things. That's it.
Fair enough. All right. Do you want to tell us what you look like?
Oh, I am the most amazing French bulldog you have ever seen. My ears are just majestic.
Yes, your ears are majestic. Oh, yes, and the way they move. So good. All right. Scout, tell us all about yourself.
I'm Scout. I'm really good at finding stuff, and I'm really good at helping people, and I really believe in the greater good of everybody. And I'm really excited to be here. I'm a very enthusiastic member of this team, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
Perfect. Do you want to describe what you look like at all?
I'm struggling a little bit with that because I can't remember what breed I am.
You are a cattle dog.
I am a cattle dog. Of course, I'm a cattle dog. Sometimes I'm forgetful, and I have an excellent patch, definitely over one eye, and it might be over both. And my tail is always wagging.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, excellent. Let's move over to Cornelius. Why don't you tell us all about yourself?
I'm Cornelius. I'm a lab, and I'm very smart, and I will do anything to make people like me.
Yeah, that sounds right. He's very cute, too. Do you want to say what you look like?
My hair is blonde, and I have a big wizard hat.
Is it a particular color?
It is purple. It's purple.
Well, what a coincidence. That's my favorite color. We're not pandering to the GM at all, are we? Okay, excellent. Caffeine. Tell us all about yourself.
Wait.
How you doing? You good? Okay, we're going to give you just a minute, and I'm going to jump to something else, and I'll jump back to you in just a minute so you can describe yourself, all right? Okay. So for those of you joining us, this is our 3rd edition of Dungeons and Doggos. This will be the same module that we've run through before, but every time is different because I've got a new pack of doggos who are going to save the world. As usual, if you've got questions, pop them into chat. If you have suggestions, pop them into chat, but know that I will ignore them, most likely. But my players might listen to them if they'd like. Feel free to tell all your friends about this because we're having a good time. I'd like to remind my viewers that the world is burning. I don't like it, so I play Dungeons and Dragons to distract myself. My friends here have decided to play it with me, with the particular change of not dragons, but doggos, and we're going to have a good time. So keep that in mind, please, and here we go. Caffeine, you ready?
Yeah.
Great. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a brown and white chihuahua.
Perfect.
I don't know who named me Caffeine, but I may bite that person.
Perfect. All right. Excellent. All right, you guys ready to do this?
Ready. Bork.
Bork. Welcome, adventurous doggos. You are all members of the League of Canine Adventurers, a noble and proud organization that works to aid the two legs in their quest to make the world a better place. You have gathered to review a well-chewed journal given to you by an elderly dog called Indy. It tells of an ancient magical artifact, the Golden Whistle of Calling, which can call forth the mighty Bork of Power, lost for generations and said to give dogs who hear it incredible gifts to help them in their noble missions. Though lost, it is now your quest to seek the whistle and restore the power of the lost Bork, so that dogs everywhere can be empowered to aid their friends and families in this world. You are gathered in an old, half-abandoned graveyard in the dead of night outside the mausoleum, which was mentioned in the journal. I'm going to prove that now by moving you all to this location. If you give me just a second to push all my buttons. Pop over here. Then I'll move all of you over there out of our quarantine room, which we were in to be safe. I just realized that Fog of War is not turned on, so I'm gonna fix that. There we go.
We're gonna pretend we didn't see any of that.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Its stone walls, this mausoleum's stone walls are carved with growling faces of fierce dogs. Each corner is decorated with a canine gargoyle growling into the night. The door sits slightly ajar, and strange mists curl out from within. What do you guys do next?
I definitely look around and, look for danger.
Roll me a perception check.
That is a 19.
The graveyard is silent. It's a little too silent. You're very focused on the mist that's curling out from this mausoleum door. You remember that the journal has told you that this is the location that will begin your quest, and you have a pretty good feeling that this is where you need to go.
Let's go to the door.
All right, Triss is the first
have
one
this
into the
feeling.
door.
Well, of course I am.
All right, so Triss. Does anybody follow Triss?
I'll go with her.
Excellent. We've got Scout in here with Triss. How the
I'll
rest?
go with them.
I'm gonna go last.
Perfect. Cornelius and Caffeine bringing up the rear. Yeah? All right. What you guys see here... Oh, my notebook disappeared. Come back. There it is. What you guys see here is it's an earth floor. It's trimmed in stone, so that stone edge you see on the map is raised. The walls are decorated with canine frescoes. They're dominated by a carving of 3 dogs, heads flung back, howling at the sky. Before them, a 4th dog seems to be appearing from the clouds, carried on waves of energy. There are 3 large mounds of earth, which you can see on the screen, arranged in a rough triangle. 2 of the mounds are closer to you, and the 3rd is further away.
Well, let's go. Like, what are we waiting for?
Well, tell me what you're doing.
I'm just gonna go right in. I'm gonna go right up to that first howling dog. Say hello.
Okay, so you go up to the fresco. How do you say hello?
I say hello.
The fresco does not respond. It is stone.
I see. Okay.
What
Strong,
else?
quiet type. I know that type well. Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got? Who else is moving around?
I will walk forward and put my nose as close as the dirt as I can without touching it, and I will start sniffing around.
Are you gonna sniff at the dirt itself or one of the mounds?
I'll start with the dirt, but then I'll move to one of the mounds.
Okay, so you move to one of the mounds. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Okay. That would be 14 plus 5, so 19.
You have discovered a tasty pile of bones. The bones are a
Okay.
mix of cow bones, human bones. I forget what the third one I used was. We'll say cow bones and human bones. Humanoid bones. What do you do?
I will grab one of the bones if I can.
Excellent. There's a particularly well-shaped one that you think will fit just right in your mouth. and it just smells amazing. Okay,
Great.
so you've picked up a bone. Excellent.
Yeah.
Scout, Caffeine, what are we doing?
I'm definitely feeling nervous about the bone he just picked up, and so I'm like excited, and I want him to be right, but I'm gonna like sniff around the base of that mound that he's at, and use my great skills to try and figure out if everyone's okay. My friends are very impulsive, it seems.
Yes. So you examine the mound that he pulled this bone out of, and it seems like just a delicious pile of bones. And you're really
Nothing suspicious.
There's nothing suspicious here. It's so delicious.
I basically just like smack the ground with my two paws and I wag my tail and I'm like, good for you, friend.
Yeah, he did a good job. Yeah. Caffeine, what are you up to?
I'm gonna go up to them and start barking because I'm curious and also scared of what they're doing.
Yeah. So you realize, yeah, that's right. So you realize that they've discovered a pile of bones, and you guys are all really excited about it.
Was that? Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one?
Yeah, you absolutely can have one. You get right in there and you pick up a bone and you are chewing on it, and it is so good. All right, what else are we doing? Anybody want to examine the other two
done,
piles?
Cornelius. I am so. You are such a good dog.
Yes.
Such a good dog for finding that.
Good doggo. Good boy.
Such a
Very
good dog.
excited.
Well, if there's bones in one pile, there's got to be bones in the other two, right? That just makes sense. So I will go forth into the darker end and find that third one. Yes.
Yeah. So
and
you
snuff around for bones.
You find him. This is another pile of bones. It's a little bit smaller than that first pile. It has the same kind of bones. So it's just a little bit smaller. It's still a pretty hefty pile. It smells just as delicious.
I'm just saying, this is the biggest pile.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with all these bones that everyone's finding, but my nature is to be curious. So now I'm looking up at that fresco.
Yeah. So I'll describe it again. It's 3 dogs standing together with their heads thrown back, howling, and a 4th dog seems to be descending through the clouds towards them on like a wave of energy.
So do we want to howl and see what happens?
Seems reasonable.
Can I be the dog descending? Because I feel like,
Well, I'm wondering if we would be calling. I'm wondering if it's like showing, how you activate the elevator in this place or something, right?
That's perfectly reasonable. Do you want to roll me an Arcana or an investigation check?
I want to roll you an investigate. Oh, it doesn't matter. I will do either. Oh, so that was a natural fail.
Oh, you rolled a nat 1, huh?
Yeah.
they're you trip over a bone and
every time.
And you're a little embarrassed and you pick it up like that was what you meant to do.
Right.
Anyway.
And I sort of mumble out the side of my mouth. I do think it was a good idea, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else want to investigate the fresco?
Yeah, I kind of want to.
Yeah, Arcana or investigation, whichever one's higher.
Investigation. Oh, yeah, investigation.
Yep.
19.
Perfect. +4? Dang, girl. All right. As you're looking at the fresco, you realize the care with which the dogs that are howling and were carved, and your mind quickly works through all of the things that you've been told and everything that you've categorized in this room. You've got a lot of energy, and like as you looked around, like you noted everything in the room. And this fresco, it really seems important. It seems to be telling you something. It might be the next step.
Does anyone want to howl with me?
I mean, I don't typically engage in such, puppetries. But if it's for the team, like, I would do anything for the team.
I'm like, sure, Triss, whatever you say.
I don't know if my vocal cords can handle howling, but I'll try.
Yep. Perfect. So we've got at least 3 volunteers for howling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys set up a howl. As the last notes of your howl die away, the mist on the floor starts to be sucked into the center, and it begins to emit a faint glow. The mist takes on the form of a dog standing proudly. He is at least a head taller than the biggest of you, and he's just this glowing, misty dog. And he says, "You have summoned me, and so have taken the first step upon a noble quest. But are you worthy to blow the golden whistle?"
Can I start barking at him?
Yes. He looks down his very regal nose at you, and he says, "We shall see. First, however, you must survive." He flicks his tail, and the mist swirls aside to reveal the bones that you guys had discovered, and they are moving under a mystic control. They swirl together in a corner of the chamber and assemble themselves into a very strange form. The new creature flexes its claws and then turns its burning red eye sockets upon you. You
So
see
it's just one big creature.
all of the bones have shooped over into the corner and turned into this huge creature with 3 skulls sort of clattering around as a head and different eye sockets burning at you. And its arms and legs seem to have too many joints and have like the sharpest bits of bones have turned into claws. It's hideous and terrifying. However, you realize something. You were just chewing on those bones. So you might be able to just chew on the bones to get it to lay down. But you can also hit it if you want. It's just, bones are delicious.
Keep barking at it.
Please continue.
Terrifying monster.
I do need
All
you
right,
all.
stand back.
I do need you all. I do need you all to roll me initiative. So you're gonna roll a
Okay.
d20, and then your initiative modifier is right next to your AC.
I got a 20.
18.
I got a 22.
Excellent.
Not natural.
Oh, no, I got a natural 20.
That is awesome. It unfortunately doesn't affect your initiative. Let's go down the list. Triss, what's your total initiative score?
Where's the modifier? Sorry.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
learning.
You are completely fine.
Oh, I rolled a 20.
Yes, you rolled a 20, and then next to on your character sheet,
Mm-hmm.
let's see, your Triss, next to your armor class, it has a +3 initiative. So your total initiative
Yes.
is 23.
Okay, 23.
Excellent.
Wow.
Scout, what's your initiative?
20 all in.
Perfect. Cornelius, what do you got?
10.
Good job. Getting those rolls up there. Caffeine, what do you got?
18.
18 total? Perfect. Okay, now you guys are going to give me just a minute to set this up, because I have to list you all in the correct order, or my brain gets squidgy, and no one wants that. Caffeine continues the bark. The bone guardian is staring down at you, kind of in disbelief, like he looks at himself, and he looks back at you like, "I'm bigger than you." And you just continue barking. And he's like, "I'm bigger than you." All right, first up in initiative is Triss.
Yes.
What do we got from Triss?
Well, I mean, I was literally bred for this. So let's attack.
Okay.
What we do.
So,
So,
how are we going to attack today?
with my short sword,
Perfect.
no better way to dice up a good juicy bone bit than to hack it apart first.
That is very true. You do need to be about 5 feet away from it, so you're going to move forward.
But then I move forward, yes, of course.
Perfect. So you move to about here, because the bone guardian is also moving towards you, and you slash at it with your short sword. Go ahead and roll me a roll to attack. So roll a d20.
Okay.
And your modifier is a +5. So what's your total?
An 11.
That beats the Bone Guardian here's AC. So you're going to roll damage.
Oh, sweet.
So roll
Is that
a D6
D6? Okay.
+5.
D6 +5. Total of 9.
9 damage. Perfect. You chip one of the bones, like a big sliver of bone off, and it sticks into the dirt and quivers. And he looks down at you like, I'm bigger than you too. Okay, next up we have Scout.
I'm like jumping around. I'm inspired by Triss. I'm maybe not quite as strategic as Triss, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bite him.
Perfect.
He's made of big juicy bones, so that's a 14. And then
there's a mechanic for this, and I need to look for it because I don't have this. Okay, so you do you want to go for an arm or a leg?
Oh, definitely a leg.
Perfect. So you jump in there and you get a good grip on that on a bone in that leg, and you rip it out. What's this look like? Is this one tug, or you do the head shaky thing to get it out of there?
I definitely do the head shaky thing.
Perfect. So you're whipping your head back and forth, and the bone, you get the right angle, and it almost just slides right out, and the rest of the leg just falls to the ground. And all of a sudden, this Bone Guardian is like hopping around on this one foot, like, I'm bigger than all. You are pissing this thing off real good. But it is now down an entire leg. Well done.
Excellent.
Okay, next up we have Caffeine. What are we doing?
I'm going to run to around R14, staying close to the wall. Not close to them, but close to a wall.
Yep. Like this?
Lower, yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to keep
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep barking since I don't know if I want to get close.
Okay, so we're going to stay about right here and keep barking. So, the bark doesn't technically count as an action. It's going to be a free action on your part. Would you like to hold your action until the end of the round in case somebody does something that'll sort of trigger you doing something?
If Trish bites him, can I bite with her? Because I'm closer to her. Can I bite with her?
You can't this round because Triss is already gone. But if Cornelius gets in there on a bite, that could, because he hasn't gone yet, that could trigger you biting with Cornelius.
Okay.
Does that sound good? So we'll hold it until Cornelius makes his move. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so the Bone Guardian is up next.
Oh no.
What's he gonna do?
Bring it.
He's gonna...
Come on, big and ugly. Come at me.
So what he does, hearing your inspiring words, is he's going to take his two arms and lash forward with them and slam them into you. Which means he has to roll a die. Oh, that's not going to hit. Does a 9 hit?
How theoretically would one know?
Theoretically, on one's character sheet, you would look at your armor class, which is conveniently in a shield.
No.
Okay, great. So he manages to slam his arms down on either side of you. And so he's like face to face with you, and he like rears back because he can't believe he missed, and he tries again. Does an 11 hit?
No.
Cool. He misses again, and so he's nose to nose with you. Just, you can sense, like a sense of, like, flabbergated, even though it's just bones. And, by the way, it's completely silent in this tomb, which is not reflecting on the stream. So let me fix that. You guys are in tombs. Yes, you're in tombs. There, the noises should now reflect the fact that it is completely silent in here. The only thing you can hear is the click of bones as it moves. It's not a pleasant sound. And the barking, yes. Caffeine is keeping up a steady barking. It's really, really energizing you guys because the strength in that bark is you're in it. Like, it's getting you all ready. You're all pumped up. Cornelius, what do you got?
Open the thing. I will get close because I wanted that bone.
You want to get your bone back? Yeah. Okay. So you get in here, and its face is conveniently low to the ground, so it's kind of bent over. Its arms are the most accessible to you, but I will give you the choice. Do you want to go after an arm or a leg?
A leg.
Go after that leg. Roll me a strength check.
Okay.
Sorry, a bite attack, which is a strength check for some of you.
I think that's 18 plus 4, so
yeah.
According to math, 22.
Thank you for doing the math for me. I regularly tell my players that I refuse to do math for them, and Wordman has remembered this, which is terribly nice of him. Or Cornelius, rather, sorry. Okay, so 22. So you went after this leg because it had... In the leg was the bone you had picked out. You can even see your bite marks on it. And in fact, when you grab it, your mouth gets in that exact bite mark. And so it fits just perfectly in your mouth, even more perfectly than before because you've modified it. And you jerk it out of there and the leg just collapses. And the Bone Guardian sits heavily on the ground. And he is now legless and he just has these 2 arms. And he's looking incredulously at the rest of you. Now, Caffeine, Cornelius got in there to do a bite. Did you want to get in there too?
Yeah. I'm gonna bite.
Great. We've got these 2 arms available. You want to latch onto one of those arms?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and...
Did I do so? Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a bite attack.
Bite attack.
Which for you...
1d4 plus 1, right?
Nope.
4.
That's the damage you'd roll if what you roll sorry. First. No, you're good. You roll a d20 and then add 5.
D20 add 5.
Wait, no. Your name is Caffeine, not Triss. You add 3.
18.
Perfect. So you get in on that arm. Now, Chihuahuas are a little small, and this Bone Guardian is really big. So when you latch onto that arm, are you doing that thing where you put all 4 feet on the arm and you're pulling back on that bone to get it out of there, like bracing yourself on the actual arm?
More like I jumped to the arm and I'm just hanging there.
Yeah.
With just my mouth.
You just well, as you're doing this, you got that grip on it, and it's like pulling a linchpin out. It pops out, and you fall back to the ground, no damage, and raining around you are all of the bones that made up that arm. But you've got that bone. It is making it a little difficult for you to bark, but you have so far gotten both legs and 1 arm in one encounter round. So well done. We are back to the top of the round with Triss. What do you got?
Well, I am just so inspired by my teammates stepping up and the little Chihuahua. I mean, Caffeine going ham.
Fierce.
I'm moved, and but since all of my teammates are in such close proximity, I can't use the sword, man. It's just too much. So I'm gonna have to go to bite.
Okay, go ahead and Yep. What was that?
I was saying I want to bite its face, but I don't know if that's an option. As a small French bulldog.
Yeah, it is an option. Go ahead and roll me a bite attack.
All right. All right. It is a total. So it is the d20 plus the strength.
Yes, which I was just looking at your sheet, so I think it's plus 5. There's a bite attack on your sheet.
Yeah, bite attack.
Yeah, plus 5.
Plus 5. Yes. So I got a 23.
Perfect. So you actually get your your mouth around like the nose and eye sockets of one of the skulls. And what's it look like when you pull this skull? It just writes off. Like, how are you doing you're a French bulldog.
I don't know, but it tastes like victory. And I'm running around, holding in the air, tossing my head, saying, look at this. Look what I did.
Yeah, and it's like the size of you. As the skull like pops off, the whole thing just collapsed to the floor. And now instead of 3 little smaller piles of bones, you've got one huge pile of bone. You each have a different bone in your mouth. Huzzah! You have ended this encounter and we are no longer in initiative. Well done, you've defeated the Bone Guardian.
Good job, guys. Yeah.
As you defeat the Bone Guardian, the guardian spirit that had appeared to you has been here the whole time watching you, just standing in the middle, letting you defeat this thing. And he says, "You have survived my guard. Now follow that which cannot be seen." And he lifts a paw and stretches it out. And on the wall in front of you, a glowing paw print opens a secret chamber on this far wall. And as the chamber opens, you can see a scrap of old blanket fall to the ground, like it was like pinned behind this piece of stone, and it falls to the ground. You can immediately detect very strong smells in the cloth, and you know that it would be undetectable to a non-canine nose. It's a clue. What do you guys do next?
Sniff.
The strange dog has given you a clue. He's not here anymore, by the way. He, as you guys' attention was absorbed by the fluttering cloth, he disappeared into the wind. And there's no mist in the graveyard, or in the mausoleum at all anymore. It's just you guys and some dirt and some bones. The strange dog has given you a clue. It's a well-chewed piece of blanket which hides a secret. Your keen noses detect several strong scents emanating from its threadbare fibers. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
15.
Okay. What else?
All of us roll?
Yeah, everybody roll.
Oh.
Yeah. 18.
Cool.
22.
Nice.
So which one is the plus?
For caffeine, your perception is a +0. You would find that in the long column, sort of in the middle. Yeah.
It's 16.
Perfect. Okay, so each of you can smell coal and iron, which reminds you of the blacksmith, meat and salt, which reminds you of the butchers, and cinnamon and flour, which reminds you of the bakers. And each of these scents hangs in the air as detectable to your noses as a cloud of colored smoke would be to an elf or a dwarf. There are several places in the city that have each of these smells, but only the trade square has all of them in the same place.
To the trade square.
Excellent. So what you guys are doing is each of these smells appears to you as a different color to your noses. And you can see them winding together, and tendrils will go off in other directions, but there's pretty strong colors that you're going to follow. So you head out of the mausoleum and into the graveyard. You, I don't have a map for this part, so this is what we call theater of the mind. You run up the road, or you get to the road that leads back into town, because the graveyard is outside of town. Go ahead and roll me another perception check to see whether you go left or right.
10.
Oh, that's a...
You cannot tell.
That's a 4.
You can't tell either.
I got a 1.
Oh no!
You
Chris,
actually...
it's all up to you.
Caffeine, you're so
I don't
excited.
want to talk about it.
You're so
Oh, no.
excited. You dig a nosedive into the dirt of the road, and you stand up and shake yourself off, and you're fine. You're very excited. Okay, so you guys are too excited to tell which direction you need to go in. So I'm going to need you all to sit like good doggos and take deep breaths like you're going to howl, but don't howl. And try again. Go ahead and roll me new perception checks.
I'm gonna do some of my
Okay.
Oh, that's bad.
meditation techniques from Ranger School.
I have to remind you as well that I believe doggos have advantage on perception checks that involve smell. Advantage means that you get to roll twice and you take the higher of 2 rolls.
Well, I don't need to, because I just got a nat 20 and plus 5, I got 25.
Holy cats!
So my mindfulness exercise
Excellent.
worked.
That worked for both Scout and Caffeine. What's Cornelius and Tris doing?
Tris rolled a nat 20, but has 0 in the ways of, perception.
Doesn't matter. Nat 20 is amazing. You guys came back with a vengeance. Cornelius, what do you got?
19.
Holy cats! Okay, so this moment of zen sitting and breathing as you're back on the track, and the colors are just brighter than ever. Tris and Scout, you are leading the way, but Caffeine and Cornelius are right behind you. You don't even need to check again. Like, you make it straight to the trade square, and it leads you right to where you need to go, which I'm gonna look at now. You arrive at the main trade square. It's quiet at this time of night. I have sounds for this. I'm supposed to build them into the map, and I keep forgetting to do that, and Luth is going to remind me someday. Wait, no, it's nighttime. This sound. I want this sound. There it is. Okay, let's go back to the map. Okay. Do I have a map for this? No, we're still doing Theater of the Mind. The only sound is the breeze and the scurrying of rats picking over the day's leavings. At the center of the square is the statue of Gourmand, a hero in these parts, considered by some, and his wolfhound companion, Sabat, the real hero, as you all know. The square is surrounded by shop fronts and market stalls, which now lie empty, as they do in the middle of the night. The area is crossed with many scents, which make tracking difficult. So what you're going to do now is you're going to break up into pairs, and you're going to aid each other on figuring out where you need to go next. So, how are you guys going to pair off?
I think we should do it by ear size.
That's an excellent estimation.
Two biggest ears, 2 smallest ears, just saying.
So Cornelius probably has the biggest ears.
Yeah, probably. I probably have the biggest.
And I think Tris...
I mean, have you measured? Have you measured?
Well, are we talking like ear length or ear height? Because if we're talking ear height, Tris has got that in spades.
Whatever I went at.
All right. Tris and Cornelius will pair you off, and Scout and Caffeine will pair you off. What you're going to do is you're going to make new perception checks. You're going to aid each other, which means one of you is going to make the perception check, and the other one of you is going to roll a d20 to see whether you can roll at advantage.
And are we still getting advantage?
Yes.
So we roll what?
We all roll.
Hang on, this is written a little
It's complicated.
confusedly. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
Can I have a couple of seconds here?
Yes, you absolutely can. So we will give Caffeine just a couple seconds. Give me just a minute. Oh, I see. It's 2 different checks. Okay. So you guys are going to smell to see where you need to go next, and then you'll work in pairs to aid each other on investigating whatever you find. My apologies. I'm going to make a note in my book because I've made this mistake every time I've run this. First, perception. Then pair for second. Investigate. All right, we'll start with Cornelius and Tris. Go ahead and roll perception checks for me.
Perception, that is 12.
Great.
9.
Great. You guys are following these scents, and you're finding each of the stalls that the scents remind you of. Scout and Caffeine, go ahead and roll me perception checks. And remember, you roll with advantage for perception.
25.
Great. And we'll wait for Caffeine to get back for her perception check. But Scout, you realize that you are heading straight to the statue. And so you head right over there. Do you tell anybody about this?
Guys, I was born for this. Follow me.
Perfect. So all 4 of you converge on the statue in the center of this marketplace. What is this called?
Trade square?
Trade square. Jesus.
Yes.
It's a gleaming brass statue. Gourmand, I guess he's handsome as humans go, but Sabat, oh, he's just the handsomest doggo. Triss and Cornelius, go ahead and roll me investigation checks. You're going to help each other out, so you're each going to roll at advantage.
Oh, advantage. Nice. That's investigation, you said?
Yep.
I have 16.
Great.
16.
Perfect.
Oh, let's go.
And Scout and Caffeine will do their checks next. Go ahead and roll with investigation with advantage.
I got 19.
Perfect.
Investigation? Wait. Investigation.
Yes.
Plus
Good.
4.
Dang.
That's 19.
Dang, Caffeine.
23?
Yeah. And Scout, what do you got?
23.
Can I just stick with Caffeine's roll? I got a 3.
We absolutely can, yes. Caffeine, you've got the highest roll, and so it is so clear to you immediately as you're looking at this statue that there's a hidden button on Sabat's collar. And when you press it, it opens a secret chamber on the statue. His mouth, Sabat's mouth opens, and on his tongue is the golden whistle.
It scares me,
What?
so I'm gonna bark.
Perfect. Yeah, it like makes a grinding noise, and so yeah, perfect. You're barking at it. So the button clicks in, the jaws of Sabat open wide, revealing a glinting metal object within. There, shimmering in the moonlight, is the fabled golden whistle. Long thought lost. As you reverently reach for it, your quest at an end, there's a sudden sound of scurrying. Beginning quickly, but quickly reaching a crescendo. Before you can act, rats swarm from every direction, chittering triumphantly. This tide of vermin sweeps over you, biting and scratching, and is gone into the sewers as quickly as it appeared, and you realize, with horror, that the whistle is gone with them.
Gross.
Yeah, it is. It's super
I
gross.
shake my coat off. I'm disgusted and annoyed.
And you find me on top of the tallest dog.
Yeah, just like curled up in a ball. Like,
I'm on top
don't
of the
like it.
tallest dog.
Perfect. So you're up on. Looks like Cornelius is back then.
Did we see where they went?
You did. They went straight down into the sewers, which is in each middle, not corners, but like in the center of each long side of the trade square is an arch of stone with metal bars set in, and 2 of the metal bars have been knocked out, and so there's a wider space that this tide of rats have swarmed under, and you realize each of you could fit right between those bars to get down into the sewer. What do you guys do next?
Chase the vermin.
Chase them.
Perfect. All right, let me set up the next map for you all.
Can I stay on top of Cornelius? I don't want you guys mistaking me as the rat. So.
Sure. Is Cornelius okay with this?
Yeah, for now.
For now. Okay. So you guys enter the sewer, yes?
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
that's where the rats went. That's where we must go.
Okay. The dark, dank sewers swim with evil-smelling liquid and bubbling nastiness. As you enter its depths, the stone floor and walls are slimy, and the air is thick and heavy. Your ears can make out the sound of the rat swarms as it scurries away into the tunnels. The rats have eluded you in a maze of tunnels under the city. You guys are going to need to make some perception or investigation checks to track the rats. Remember, you guys have advantage on these because you're basing it on smell.
So as a French bulldog, which was literally bred to hunt these kinds of vermin,
That's
do I
true.
get like a double advantage?
No, sadly. My apologies. So we're going to go in order because I do want to track the success and failures. And by order, I mean of the screen. So Triss, go ahead and roll me either a perception or an investigation, whichever is highest.
All right, so it's here. I am not a smart dog, but I know what love is, and I got a 16.
Perfect. Scout, you're up next.
This is perception. Sorry, perception
or investigation, whichever's higher.
Okay, definitely perception. Oh, excellent! I rolled a nat 1 with a +5 modifier.
You get your so with nat ones you don't get to add your modifiers.
That sounds reasonable.
So you're putting your nose as close as you can stand to the muck to try and smell where the rats have gone, and a bubble pops up under your nose and it gets up in your nose, and you don't.
I'm whining and I'm like hitting myself in the face and I can't get rid of this. I kind of want to leave. My tail's between my legs.
Yeah, you're not comfortable.
I'm not happy.
No. Okay, Cornelius, what do you got?
Yeah, I will. That's it. 15.
Great. Caffeine, how about you?
I'm still behind Cornelius, so like, I mean, I cannot really see anything. I rolled an 8.
An 8. Yeah, so you're a little too far away from the ground up on Cornelius's back to smell anything, and you can't see anything because it's really dark in here. So that's not quite working for you. All right, so you guys make it deep into the tunnels, but you're not quite sure where to go next. So I'm going to need you guys to make some new perception checks. Triss, we're back to you.
I got a 6.
Good. Maybe you should switch die.
I only have 1.
Oh no. I have more than one because I hoard dice. So that's what I've been doing during this season. Is every time I get really sad, I buy a new set of dice, which I'm very lucky to be able to do that. But yes, I have many shiny math rocks, which Luth has indicated in stream chat. All right, Scout, what do you got?
16.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. You guys know exactly where you're going. So you get into this section of the tunnels, which you can see here on the screen, on the map, and you're starting to head in here. And who got that? That was Scout. So Scout, you're actually in the front. And what order do we want to go in? Scout's in the front. We've got probably...
Can we proceed cautiously? I feel like
Absolutely.
I have the skills to proceed cautiously.
You really do, yes. So does this positioning look okay for you guys to be proceeding with caution, or do I need to adjust?
Yeah, sort of closer to the wall.
Yeah,
maybe?
Closer to the wall. Perfect. Okay. Triss, you want to be up near the wall too? Stay with your pack?
I want to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Okay.
But because Scout has the scent, I will respect the pack order.
Understood. All right. So does this look about right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly.
Get off Cornelius. Because I see people I see the dogs moving, so I'm gonna get off Cornelius and stop being scared.
That sounds excellent. We all applaud you for the not being scared, but accept the scared as well. So Scout, you know exactly where you need to go. You are approaching with caution. You've got your tail up, your ears up, your nose is open, you're ready to go. And all of a sudden, under your nose, out of the muck, sprouts a swarm of rats about the size of a medium-sized dog. So I'd like you guys to all roll for initiative again.
Nice.
Oh no.
Oh no.
19.
Ooh, let me write this down. Hang on. So Scout, that was Scout, right? Yeah, got a 19. Triss, what'd you get?
22.
Great. Cornelius, what'd you get?
4.
Cool.
Initiative, not my thing.
No, it's not. No. Caffeine, what do you got?
19.
It is, however, everyone else's thing. So when two characters roll the same initiative, I ask them to tell me what their dex scores are to sort of like break a tie in my head. So Caffeine, what is your dex score? And Scout, what is your dex score?
Total 18.
Big
Okay.
circle.
Is it? Do I just read the number in the circle?
Yes.
17.
Perfect. So Scout's going to go before Caffeine, but Caffeine will go right after. Give me 1 second to write everything down. I write really tiny, guys, so it's hard to read my own handwriting sometimes.
I just killed a mosquito. Wait.
Oh, that's gross. Go do what you need to do.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Do it. I empathize so hugely. Please go ahead and take care of that. Ugh.
Okay. It's done. Alcohol.
I have fortunately been able in my life to make high-pitched, scared noises. My husband will come running and kill whatever spider is anywhere near me because he's really sweet. All right. So I'm just going to explain what's happening here a little bit. What you guys did to get here, where I was asking you to roll those perception checks, is something similar to what it's similar to something called a skill challenge. In a more traditional skill challenge, you wouldn't be able to use the same skill more than once. But what I was looking for was a stack of successes in order for you to find the right direction, and a stack of failures to indicate how this fight's going to go. And so because you rolled a total of 3 failures before you got to 3 successes, the rats are actually surprising you.
No.
Yes, it is terrible. So what that means is we all rolled initiative, and that is absolutely wonderful. But this swarm of rats is going to be able to go before you, because of that surprise. I'm hearing a lot of background noise from one of you. Would you mind muting when you're not talking? Thank you. It just makes the stream noisy. I apologize. I appreciate. Okay, so this swarm of rats is going to do a thing which I know. So what you're seeing here are regular sized rats twisting around each other like in a huge ball of a swarm. And what will happen, Scout, is as it boils up from the muck, it's going to try and sort of engulf your face. It does a bad job, so you are paying such good attention and you're so alert that as it bubbles up under you, you like pull back a little bit and it just misses your face and boils back down. And it's going to move back a little bit. And as it moves, you can hear the chittering and the hissing and the claws skittering on the stone. And it is not a fun sound. So top of the round, we've got Triss. Triss, what are we going to do?
Oh, well, we are just so enraged by the presence of this vermin trying to get my friends that I'm going for it. I'm going to take out my short sword and run in just completely blind and stupid, as I do.
Perfect.
As is the way.
As this, yes, is the way.
This is the way.
Roll me an attack.
Okay. And then let's see here. Attack would be a +5. Okay, so I got a 19.
Excellent. That hits. Roll me damage.
And then it's the D6 +5?
Yes.
Okay, 11.
That does a lot of damage. So so I'm imagining that your short sword is gonna slice right through the top of the pile, and it outright kills a couple of the rats where the sword connects, and then the ones that were squirming around on top of it get flung into the wall so violently that they just splat against the wall. So you've sort of sheared the top of the swarm right off. It is not happy.
May they rotten bad dog hell.
Yes, yeah, that's what will happen to them. Next up is Scout. What are we doing?
So I guess I was wondering if I would use my longbow, but that doesn't make sense anymore. So I think I would leap over.
Well, why wouldn't it make sense?
Because they're in pieces. I mean, it's a better attack.
You don't have to think about it that hard. If you shoot into the rats, just taking us out of game for a little bit, If you were to shoot into the rats and miss, I might story it like the rat swarm opens up and the arrow shoots through, or the swarm is in, it just nicks right through, like if you roll like a nat 1. I might story it that way, but if you hit, it's gonna hit, and I'll describe like appreciable damage. So do whatever you want.
All right, let's use the longbow then.
Excellent. Longbow up.
All right. 1927.
Oh, that super hits. Roll me damage.
Okay.
And tell me if you guys roll nat 20s or nat 1s for your attacks, please. So I can do stuff.
Okay. 10 damage.
Oof, yeah. Oh, hang on. I forgot to do math from earlier. Let's see how much damage that does. I hate doing math. So your longbow explodes into this swarm of rats, and it just, again, like you just skewer like 10 whole rats right on this huge arrow, just thunk right up against the wall, and there's just a little piddly pile of rats now, and they're hissing and screaming at Triss, who's the closest, but it's not doing great. It is on its last leg, as they say. Caffeine, what are you gonna do with this situation?
Do I roll a d20 first before I win an attack? Just sorry.
That's okay. So you see one target in front of you. Depending on your attack, if you wanted to bite it or use like a dagger, you'll want to move up close to it, and you've got 30 feet of movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. So you've got plenty of movement to get over there. So you'd move up to it. You'd say you want to hit it with a dagger. I'll tell you to roll an attack. So you'd roll a d20 and you'd add whatever attack modifier you have.
Okay. I want to try hitting him with the dagger.
Perfect. So we'll move you up here. Or did you want to, you said wall earlier. Can I assume you'll want to keep sticking to the wall as you move over?
Yeah.
So now you're in a good position here where Triss is flanking you, which gives you advantage or sneak attack.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have to learn these rules. I'm so bad at this.
I think the advantage gives you sneak attack. I'm not sure.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Let me look at your sheet. I'm going to learn this someday. I learned it wrong the first time I learned it. And so I'm having I, Shauna, have a really hard time. Here, once per turn, you can deal an extra 2d6 damage to one creature you hit with an attack. You don't need advantage if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it.
Oh.
So, because Triss is next to you, if you deal damage, you will automatically deal an extra 2d6 of damage. So
okay.
Once per turn. So this is very cool. So go ahead and roll to attack. We'll worry about the sneak attack stuff later. You're going to roll a d20 plus 5.
20 plus 5. 24. 19 plus 5.
Oh, yes, that hits. You're going to roll. We'll start with 1d4 plus 3.
1d4. 4. Which one is the 4? Is it the
The
pyramid?
It's the pyramid, yeah. It's the one that you really don't want to step on.
1d4 plus 3. 5.
Perfect. Now, also, I need you to roll a d6 twice.
D6.
That's
cube. The cube.
That's the cube. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Twice?
Yes. So you get to roll 2d6 extra sneak attack damage.
Okay, I got 4. Both of them are 4.
Perfect. All right. So what I'm imagining this looks like is you whip out one of your daggers, and you're sneaking along the edge of the wall, and the rats do not see you because it got chopped by a sword and shot with an arrow, and it's losing its mind. And as you sweep up behind it and stab it with the dagger, you get all of the rest of the rats chunked on that dagger, and you have completely decimated this swarm. Well done, folks.
Nice.
Haha.
Oh, nice.
Dead swarm. As you are excited about this victory, you spot a second swarm off to the right. Cornelius, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna run up a little bit up to about where Scout is, like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will bark at the rats.
Yes.
And cast a firebolt.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, so that one works. Let's take a look. Firebolt. So it's got 120 feet range. You're definitely within range. You're going to roll a d20 and add a 5.
Okay.
Which is your spell attack modifier.
That is 21.
Oh, that hits my dude. Okay, roll me a d10.
A d10.
Yes.
Okay. 8. You're
casting this at first level?
I think Firebolt is a cantrip.
It is a cantrip. You are correct. Yeah. Please ignore me. What was I reading here? When you hit 5th level. You guys are 3rd level. Okay, so you do 8 damage to this swarm. Yes. What color is this flame?
I don't know, flame color.
That's fine.
Just regular.
So this bark that you bark out takes shape as this sort of jagged, like, bolt of flame, and it shoots forward straight into the center mass of this swarm of rats that is boiled up from the ground, and it just vaporizes a good chunk out of this swarm, and they all squeal in absolute rage and terror. They are very unhappy with you, my sir.
I am very happy.
Does anyone get an attack of opportunity as they recover from this?
You guys are too far away for that.
Too far away, okay.
Yep, but good call. I actually forgot that they had a turn, but that is my fault, and so we will go back to the top of the round. Triss, what do you got?
Well, their squeals of torment and terror are the stuff that my happiest dreams are made of. So, lured by the enticing scent of hard rat, I would like to turn my attention to support my comrade.
Okay.
And as I am getting very tired of all these, trying to think of all these Borkin rats in this Borkin sewer, I am going to use my special. Oh no, it's a bonus action. So I want to attack with my short sword again.
Yep.
So move to Cornelius.
Oh,
attack support wherever Cornelius's fireball exploded. That's where I want to go. I want to go to where the carnage is.
You're going to go straight up to these rats, which are kind of in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen here.
Perfect. And I want to hack and slash them with my short sword. And then there's a bonus action of 2-weapon fighting. Ken has.
I believe you, and I want you to do that. I'm looking at your sheet to see what it does. 2-weapon fighting.
Oh, no.
I don't either.
It sounds cool.
It does sound cool. Let's click on it and see if it tells us anything useful. It does tell us things useful. When you take the attack action and attack with a light melee weapon that you're holding in one hand, you can use a bonus action to attack with a different light melee weapon that you're holding in the other hand. What do you have in your hands? A short sword, which is a melee weapon that is light.
Can I grab Caffeine and use her since she's got her daggers out?
You cannot use
my second melee weapon.
You cannot use Caffeine as your second melee weapon. No. But
okay.
What I am realizing is that Triss should have 2 short swords. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a second short sword to your inventory because that was just a mistake. Well, if you want to use 2-weapon fighting, you'd need two light weapons. So you'd need 2 short swords.
Yes. I don't leave home without 2 swords.
Right. I mean, that seems right. So everybody give me a minute while I add another short sword to your inventory. And then equip it. And I'll have to make a note to make sure I go back and... There you go. Imagine, yeah. I really like the image of Triss being like, "Oh, I need another light weapon. Let me pick up caffeine." But no, well, okay. So you sweep in there and you hit it with one short sword, and then you'll be able to hit it with a second short sword as your bonus action.
Yeah. Do that.
Okay, do it. Roll me a d20.
All right. So that is, uh, so that's I'm adding, no, 5. I think I'm adding 5. Let me check.
You are adding 5, yeah.
Yeah, short sword 5. Okay, 23.
23 hits. Roll me damage. So I'll resolve this one attack at a time.
All right, and then so a total of 9.
9 damage. Great. So that lops off another chunk. Go, and if you'd like to use two-hand fighting, go ahead and attack again. Roll me another d20.
23.
That hits. None of these are gonna bite you. You guys are the worst. Roll me damage for that one.
10.
Yeah. Okay. So your sword. What does this look like for you? As you murder this swarm of rats with your 2 short swords.
Almost like putting the 2 short swords together to make like a Darth Maul style dual-bladed death windmill. I think.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, like that sounds amazing. Yeah, and so you're flinging dead rats all over the place, and the swarm is just decimated. Goodbye, swarms of rats. Well done, folks.
Got blood streaked through my fur, and I feel alive.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the screen I was on. I want this screen. Thank you. And then I need this screen. Thank you. Okay. Yes, so this rat swarm is completely destroyed. You're all standing there taking deep breaths of excitement because you were all amped up and you completely destroyed these rats, and you can hear chanting coming from ahead of you. And we are going to take a short break in real life. So as your dogs are standing there in their glory, the real life humans are going to take short bio breaks. So stream, we will be back in 10 minutes. It is 1:45 p.m. my time. So it will be 1:55 p.m. my time when we get back. So we'll be back a little before 2. So I'm going to switch the stream to be right back mode and mute all the microphones. See you in 10 minutes, stream. Thank you. hello, Stream. Let me just make sure everybody's unmuted. Everyone is indeed unmuted. That is fantastic. Now I have to make sure all the sounds are synced up correctly. Where are you guys? That's right, you're in sewers. Okay. So, you have successfully defeated 2 swarms of rats, and you have wound your way towards this chanting that you could hear. You have tracked your way to the rat's lair, and you're going to force your way into this chamber, and you're going to battle for this whistle. You see a tunnel open into a larger circular chamber. I'm going to use Triss to illuminate this. A larger circular chamber that drops away in stepped tiers. The sound of chittering and chanting can be heard coming from the entrance, and a sickly green luminous glow comes from within. The smell of rats, water, and corruption is very strong. So you guys head in, yes? Or are you guys gonna be like, no, we're good. We're gonna go back.
No, we go in.
You go in.
Without thinking.
Sure.
Without any forethought. Let's go.
Just shoop. Okay.
Just go.
This chamber is filled with rats, and I'll put one of you closer to the middle so you can see it because it's really big. Chamber is absolutely filled with rats. There's a pool of green water lying in the center with 3 water channels. That's what those 3 big pipes are, feeding just the grossest liquid imaginable into it. There's a particularly large rat directly across from the entrance. He's like a sickly white color, and he's holding the whistle as you guys enter, and he's turning it in his claws greedily, and he's rubbing it against his face. But as soon as he catches sight of you, he screeches. He says, "Attack, my children! They must not get the shiny!" And several swarms of rats are going to start moving towards you. Yeah, I need you guys to roll for initiative.
All right.
We're going to get right into it.
7.
7 from Scout. Triss, what do you got?
7.
You also got a 7?
I did, yes.
All right, which one of you has a higher dex score?
Mine's 18.
17.
Okay, so Scout's going first. Cornelius, what do you got?
12.
You guys are rolling great. Caffeine?
18.
There we go. That's what we need. Okay, let me put the rats into place to aid with pacing. I have elected to do something GM's ages past do, and I'm clumping some of the NPCs together. So instead of having an initiative for each rat swarm, I split them up into 2 big groups, and so they'll move in waves like that. As you kill a rat swarm, it'll be the one that most logically makes sense that's nearest you, and I'll strike it out of the sheet I have, just to give you guys a little bit of an orientation. Any questions about that?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. So, on the screen you see 6 rat swarms, like you just fought, and then a big white rat. So technically that means I would have 7 non-player characters to run the initiative and all the attacks for. And that can get a little bogged down. I'm being told the music is not coming through, so I have to fix that. That can get a little bogged down for me, and it kind of destroys the pacing, where I'm like, okay, Triss go, and then I'm going to go 6 times, and then Cornelius can go. So in an effort to fix that problem, I've grouped the rat swarms into 2 different groups. So instead of running 6 different NPCs, I'll just run 2 groups. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just makes it flow a little better. Tyler, can you hear that a little better? I'm still trying to work through what is loud enough for you guys to hear, but isn't too loud to me. Tech can hear stuff. Tyler cannot. Turn it up a little bit. There it is. Okay, I will stop changing things. All right. Thank you, stream. Ooh, I need to check something. I get helpful comments from my supporters, and I'm just making sure I'm up to speed on everything. I really appreciate their help. Alright, I was doing initiative, yes? And explaining random things to fill the time. Alright, I'm just going to clean up this initiative order so I can make a little list. Any other questions while I'm moving things around on my sheet? I use an app called GoodNotes. I migrated from GoodNotes 4 to GoodNotes 5 because they finally made some of the changes I needed them to make. And I'm able to import PDFs into it, and then I can write on top of them. So I'm actually using the PDF for this adventure and then writing and reading in it, which is really handy. So I can write stuff down and then move it around. So I write each of your initiative orders down as you tell me, and then I can move them into the correct order on my sheet. It's quite handy. I really like it. And then I can keep track of all the adventures we've run before, which is super neat. Okay, so let's do this, shall we? I should just turn off the fog of war for this one. Yeah. So the great rat leader is the big white guy in the top corner. He's going to scream at his children to attack you and then back off towards this pipe. Next up is going to be Caffeine. What do you got? Caffeine, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
I just
Okay, yeah. We can just give you just a second.
and it farted.
You're okay. Take
What
your
happened?
time. Okay. I was just babbling while I was setting things up, and then I said the biggest white rat that you saw screamed, "Attack my children," and then backed off towards the pipe. And then you're next in the initiative order. So there's a rat swarm just to your left. There's one about halfway up in the room, all the way on the left underneath a pipe, and another one in the top left-hand corner of the room. And then that setup is mirrored on the right-hand side of the room. This circular, gross room.
Do I have to go through the other rat swarm? Or can they run directly to that shiny?
Oh, through the middle part?
Yeah.
You don't know. You can see that it is like a pool of water that seems to be glowing in the grossest way possible, but you can't tell from here how deep it is.
Okay. I want to bite the closest rat to me.
Perfect. So you're going to move up to this rat swarm to your left, and go ahead and roll me a bite attack. So d20 plus 3.
11 plus 3, 14.
14. That hits. Go ahead and roll me damage.
D4. Oh, 1d4 plus 1. 4.
Perfect. So you are you gonna lunge into the middle of this rat swarm and latch onto a rat and pull it out and just shake it around? What's this look like? Yeah, that looks right.
Exactly that.
Perfect. This rat is incredibly unhappy with you. Doesn't like it in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I forgot to write something down. Ugh. Quickly, Shona. Quickly. Okay, so, yes, it happens thusly. This rat is very unhappy with you. Next up is Cornelius. What are we doing?
Okay.
How you doing?
Is there just rats and nothing
So
else?
so far you see 6 swarms of rats, like the 2 swarms that you faced before, and 1 very large white rat across the way with the golden whistle that seems to be calling the shots.
Okay.
And each of these squares on the map is 5 feet of movement. So the big rat leader is 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 feet away from you. So you've got some spells that shoot that far.
Yeah, I could. I think I'm gonna try to shoot guy with a fire.
Sounds good. Roll me a spell attack.
That will. Oh, 18. 5. So, a bunch.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll me damage. 1d10,
Let's
right?
1d10. 2 damage.
That is bad luck. Okay, so this this firebolt streaks across and it gets him right across the shoulder and he squeals in pain. Next up is some rat swarms. Okay, so the swarm that that caffeine bit at is gonna try and bite back. Does an 8 hit?
What? That deals an 8 damage?
No, I does an 8 beat your armor class?
No.
Right. It looks like your armor class is 14. Go back to the right tab. There we go. Yeah, so it tries to lunge at you, but you've made it. It's off kilter. It's off balance because you've already attacked it and pulled out a chunk of the rats that make up this swarm. So it rears back when it realizes that it needs to adjust a little bit. This swarm also runs up. It makes it to about here, and it's gonna lunge at Triss. Does an 18 hit, Triss?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna take 7 damage, and what this looks like is the swarm as it moves across the floor. It's sort of like undulating across the floor, and as it gets up to you, it swarms up around you, and all of the rats that make up this swarm are biting and scratching at you like they were around the statue. But when they were around the statue, they were just trying to get up you and grab the whistle, whereas this time they are digging in and trying to cause damage, and they're getting into all the little chinks and stuff in your armor and your face, and you take 7 piercing damage. Okay. And then next up is this last swarm. It is going to move to here to get at you guys. And then next up is Scout. What are we doing, Scout?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bite the swarm next to Cornelius.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that is 17.
That hits.
5. Okay.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll me damage.
Okay. 6.
Excellent.
I just leap in there and I'm super mad. I was doing a good job. These guys surprised us, baring my teeth, and I grab a few of them and fling them at the wall.
Yeah, they go limp there, and you've taken quite a big chunk out of this particular swarm. It is not looking, it's hissing and growling at you, and they're all trying to puff themselves up to look bigger. Next up is Triss. What are you gonna do in response to this rat biting your face?
Well, I'm gonna have to bite right back. So let's go with bite attack.
Have at.
Plus 16.
That hits. Roll me damage.
7.
Wow, you get an even bigger chunk than Scout does, and also throw all those rats at the wall, and the little punk punk punks of the noises of the bodies as their bodies hit the walls is very satisfying to Triss. Definitely causing quite a bit of damage there.
It fuels my soul.
As you're doing this, as these bodies are hitting the wall, you hear a sucking, roaring sound. And out of the corner of your eye, and the rest of you see the biggest, most monstrous rat rear up out of this pool in the middle of the floor. It is easily twice as large as the biggest swarm. It's got at least half a head on Cornelius, so it is just a huge rat. It's got like gross wounds all over it, but it's hulking, and its muscles are huge, and its teeth are so long and sharp, and its eyes are glinting red, and it is ready to rush forward. And it does rush forward and kind of bulldozes this swarm out of the way and tries to bite at Triss. Does a 10 hit?
No.
So he trips right on this last step, and instead of biting at you, he kind of slips down a step. But he's roaring, and it's shaking the room. It's so loud. Next up is more rat swarms. Okay.
Is anyone allowed to use a reaction now?
Yes. Some of the reactions depend on like how close you are to someone else, but tell me what you'd like to do.
Well, I'm all about this opportunity attack.
Fair enough. Let's see, what have I done with your squares? We'll say that I'll just line up these squares a little bit better. It's not trying to move away from Triss.
Slip down the step? Okay.
I think what I meant there is that it's like its foot slipped down, so its bite didn't connect, but it's not moving. Okay. It's not trying to move away. That's another thing about the opportunity attack is it's less of a I shifted too far to the left and more of a I deliberately moved away from something.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so the rat swarm that's right next to Cornelius is going to lash out at Scout. Badly. I'm sure that doesn't... 6 is not going to hit.
Does not.
So you guys have definitely intimidated these swarms. But this one's also going to try and do the same thing. It's hemmed you guys in. Does an 18 hit?
You cut out. Was it aiming at Scout?
Yes, it is aiming at Scout.
And 18 does hit, yes.
You are going to take 7 piercing damage.
Okay.
And the last rat swarm moves closer. All right. Next up, we are back to the top of the round. The great rat leader is just going to continue screaming at its followers to attack you, to save it shiny. And Caffeine, you are up next. How are you going to respond to this?
I keep looking at frenzied fighting.
Yeah.
What does that do?
Let me take a look at that again. Where are you? I saw it earlier. Yes. So once per long rest, and you can flavor this however you like, but what you end up doing when you use an action for frenzied fighting is you clear a 15-foot cube originating around you. If the occupants of the squares in the 15-foot cube around you fail a Constitution saving throw. So if you'd like to invoke frenzied fighting, what I would do is have each of the the tokens in a 15-foot cube. So for you, what that would look like is, I'll ping on the map. If you're sitting like right here, then 15 feet would be this far out from you in a cube. So we'd be looking at every character in this space is going to have to make a Constitution saving throw. And if they fail it, they'll be pushed away from you.
Every character?
Every character, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, each creature in a 15-foot cube. So if it were just enemies, it would say that in the description. On a failed save, the creature takes damage and is pushed.
Wait, I'm confused. Does that mean
It's okay.
even my teammates or just the enemies?
It does mean
Yes.
your teammates as well, yes. So, Triss, 5, 10, 15. All of your teammates would need to make this save and take damage and be pushed if they fail the save. If they succeed the save, they still take damage, but they don't get pushed, and it's not as much damage.
Yikes, though. But I was
Yeah.
thinking I want to use frenzied fighting since the swarm is overwhelming me.
It is overwhelming you. What you could do is move. That you'll invoke an opportunity attack. I don't know. It might be just a good character choice that even though your friends are near you, this swarm is all up in your business, and it just happens. You don't mean for it to happen, but it just does. That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. So frenzied fighting is happening.
Yeah, I've been looking at it for a while, thinking about it.
Oh yeah, you've been wanting to do this for a while. Can you describe what this would look like?
Probably definitely would be really stiff on the floor. Suddenly just I mean, you know, like a normal chihuahua just barking aggressively and biting everyone in its path.
Yes. Okay. So
Growling
whirling,
and biting.
growling,
And
and
also
biting.
shaking.
Oh yeah, like vibrating.
Shaking.
Like
Yes.
the
Yes.
yeah. Okay. We'll resolve this starting with the rats. So let's try this first rat swarm. He rolled a nat 1, so he takes just all the damage. How does your damage work here? Roll me 2d8.
Here the wait.
So the d8s.
Is it the one from? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 8. Okay.
Yep.
The one that looks like diamond.
Yes, that's
Yes.
the exact
Okay.
one. Roll that twice and tell me how much that is.
3 and 1.
Ow. You got 4. So because he rolled a nat 1, I don't know if this is real or not, but I'm gonna say it takes twice that damage. I forget if that's a real thing.
We can say it is.
Sounds good to me, and I'm the GM, and I can do whatever I want, so... but it's 4 damage for everybody else. So that it gets pushed 10 feet, so we'll push him back to here. I'll
We
do...
have to make a constitution.
You do, but I'm going to do this in order or I'll lose track, so
Yeah,
give me one
no
second. This guy does not roll higher than 13, so I'll have him be pushed back, and he takes 4 damage, and then I'll do that with this guy. This dice is fired. It is not rolling very well, which is good for you, but bad for me. I'm gonna laugh really hard if the... Wow. I'm gonna use a different die for the rest of these rolls because the monstrous rat just got pushed back 10 feet, and that just seems unfair to me. Okay, we'll go to Triss next. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That is where on my sheet?
On the
I know
very,
it's somewhere.
all the way to the left, underneath your regular
Oh, saving throw modifiers.
There you go.
Okay. I got a 13.
And so caffeine's, I was just looking at this, how do I not remember it? Caffeine's, frenzying fighting, Constitution saving throw. Sorry, my Stop. I'm not clicking on it. Go away. I think that's against your spell DC. You don't have a spell DC. What's that against? I was just looking at this. That's how I knew whether I had...
Do you hear my background noise? Sorry.
I can. It's okay. Unless you're... Yes, we can hear it. It might be streaming to the internet.
Do you hear my brother yelling?
Yes.
Oh. I'm gonna close his door. Give me a sec.
Okay. Well, I didn't roll any higher than a 15, so I know I didn't... Oh, there it is. 9. Yeah, I didn't roll higher than a 9 at all. So, Triss, what did you roll?
Altogether, I got a 13.
Okay, so you save. So you only take 2 damage, and you don't get pushed.
Okay.
Next up is, we'll do Scout.
Okay, 9 plus 3, so 12.
So that's higher than a 9. So yeah, you also only take 2 damage, and you don't get pushed.
Okay.
And Cornelius.
I rolled a 5, but I'm going to use the Eye of Wagamoto.
The Eye of Wagamoto. Ooh.
To,
Tell us what that does.
It lets me use my reaction to re-roll an attack or saving. So I will re-roll. And that is 14 plus 3, so...
That's excellent.
And that is used now. Can I mark that I used?
Oh, I have to mark that I used this, right?
Yes.
Oh, charges. There
Charges, yeah. Well...
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay. That's a good move, though. So you saved, so you only take 2 as well.
Okay.
And you don't get pushed. Okay, so that frenzied fighting, as things took damage and got pushed away, like, as you're lashing out, they're sort of, like, your momentum is throwing them from you. And that's what I think all of this looks like. Does that sound right? Thunder. So Tyler Moonsage commented Thunderwoof, and yeah, that's about what happened here. That is a very good roll there. I really liked that. Thank you. Cornelius, you are up next.
Oh.
How do you follow this friend? You're like, you guys are probably like, what is happening?
I'm just going to with it. Since I mean everything is like she's pushing everything around, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast Enlarge on Caffeine.
Awesome. Tell us what that does.
The target size doubles. So she's just gonna be bigger. Double her size.
Okay. Does that affect any of her modifiers or anything?
This growth increases the size by 1 kg. Until the spell ends, the target also has advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. The target's weapon also grow to match its new size. All these weapons are enlarged. The target's attacks with them deal extra 1d4 damage.
Awesome.
So she has extra damage.
Let me just check what her bite attack is based on.
I don't know.
I'm just checking. It is based on strength, so your bite attacks will be stronger. Or sorry, will have advantage, and your all of your daggers, Caffeine, will have 1 extra d4 of damage. So you are suddenly a larger Chihuahua, which is scary. So what everybody else in the room sees is this little Chihuahua vibrating and lashing out, and as it comes to a standstill, it gets bigger. Like that's what this looked like. So this terrifying thing happened, and then it got bigger.
It got worse?
It got worse. It's getting worse. Guys, it's getting worse. Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you're going to do on your turn, Cornelius?
No, I think that's it.
That's it?
I think that is it. Yeah.
All right, so the rats are gonna go next. They are very intimidated, but with their master screaming at them, this swarm is gonna move up. And we're gonna try a different die. We're gonna do this one. What does this one think? Does a 10 hit? I don't think it does.
Me?
Yes. Sorry.
No.
I should have said caffeine. Yeah. Okay, so that one fails. This one is not going to be brave, and it's going to back up 2. But this one does not like being in the muck. It's going to pull itself out. Its movement was halved, but it can still get up to caffeine again. It's going to very gingerly. Does a 12 hit? I think your DC is a 4. Yeah. So both of these swarms have approached you, but very sort of gingerly. You have definitely intimidated them. Next up is Scout.
Okay, I am gonna do a bite attack again, in the nearest swarm. So that is an 18.
That hits. Roll me damage.
6 damage. And then I'm gonna use a bonus action as well. So like I'm really aware of caffeine as like super lacking in chill, and you know, Triss is getting wound up. It's all a lot right now. I've decided we need Scooby snacks.
All right.
And so as I leap in and fling some more rats at the wall, I'm gonna immediately bless with a Scooby snack. Which means, sorry, I'm going as fast as I can.
Nope, don't worry. We've got time. While you're looking, so far we have seen 2 stream. We have seen 2 magic items from our doggos. Cornelius has the Eye of Wagamoto, and Scout has something called Scooby snacks, which are in a little bag.
Snack sack of Scubas, yes.
Snack sack of Scubas, yes. And each of these magic items bestow different properties. And so Scout is eating a snack and is able to cast Bless. And you're doing that on?
My companions.
Mm-hmm.
And so they now have a d4 that they can add to their attack roll or save.
And how long does that last?
Such a great question. Up to 1 minute. So I guess the next round.
No, each round of combat is 6 seconds. So 1 minute is hopefully going to last until the end of this fight. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, quite excellent. You guys are doing great. Okay, next up I think is Triss. Triss, remember you have been blessed. You feel suddenly stronger and smoother in action. What are we doing?
All right. So how far away is Big Rat Daddy?
15 feet.
Okay.
There's 10 feet between you.
Okay. Well, I can get 30 in a turn. So I'm going after the big, and not the scary monster one, but like the ringleader, the general who's in the back corner.
Oh,
there.
the general? He is about 45 feet away from you.
Okay. So I would like to chase down his face.
Okay.
I think I can go 30 feet.
You can.
Just through movement. And then I have like a special thingy that says I can go again. Sorry, I'm trying to figure it out.
1 second. In order to get over there, you're going to have to pass close enough to rats that they'll be able to get an opportunity attack on you. What that means is as you run by, they'll get a free attack. Are you okay with that?
Yep. Do it.
And then
the ringleader's got to go.
This neat thing that you have, is this an item or a feature?
It is.
Is this dogged persistence or what are you looking at?
So I'm looking at action surge. You can take 1 additional action on your turn.
Action surge. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, run and then take another action, which would probably be to run a little bit more to get closer to the bad guy, so I can actually get there and like bite his face. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, so mechanically what this would look like is you'd use your move action to go 30 feet. You'd use your action to dash, which lets you go another 30 feet. And then you'd use your action surge to be able to hit it, which is a second action.
Let's do that.
Okay. Nate will correct me if I'm wrong via text, but that sounds right to me, and I think we're just going to do that. So would you like to go left around the great rat in the middle or right around the great rat in the middle?
All right, let's see here. I'm going to go... Let's go right, because that's the side that Yoda rat is.
Perfect. That rat swarm is going to swarm over you, and it is going to hit with a 21. And so you are going to take 4 points of piercing damage.
All right.
So it's 5, 10,
I'm not dead yet.
15, 20, 25, 30. And then you're going to use your action to dash. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So you get right up to him, and you're going to use your action surge to hit it.
Yes, and then I get the bless bonus, right?
You do get the bless bonus, yes. You can add that to your attack roll. And I think you can... Hang on, I can't remember if you use that after or before. Where's your... There. Bless... That took me way too long to get to. You bless a creature... Target, roll a d4. Yeah, so roll your attack roll, and if you need it, you can roll your bless. You don't have to waste it if you don't need it.
All right, so attack roll.
Yep, with your short sword.
Okay, and that is 15.
That hits.
And then I rolled for damage a 9 without the bless.
Okay. So you shear off a good chunk of this rat leader's arm. He's howling at you, and his rat followers have noticed that this is happening, and he's going to start he's going to start howling at his followers to get you instead of you specifically instead of just everybody around you. The monstrous rat doesn't seem to listen very well. It's going to run forward, and seeing that Triss is bleeding, is going to try and bite her. Does a 15 hit? Does a 15 hit Scout?
My AC is 15.
So that does hit. So you are going to take... I have to roll a bunch of dice. Give me 1 second. You are going to take 8 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, ouch. Okay, I'm below half right now.
Ooh, so you are bleeding quite heavily. This monstrous rat has lunged forward, got you right in the shoulder, and there's a huge gaping wound right there. Next up is more of the rats. So seeing that its master is being attacked, this rat swarm is actually going to reverse direction and come back at Triss. Does an 11 hit? I know an 11 doesn't hit Triss. It is being tentative, and its master is screaming at it. This rat swarm is going to try and move away from Scout, which will give Scout an opportunity attack. Would Scout like to take an opportunity attack?
100%.
Excellent.
Okay. It's a bite attack. That is a 15.
That hits.
Okay. And 7 damage.
where's that piece of my sheet? Okay. You as it tries to surge away from you, you lunge forward and grab it, and just you manage to. It's not just like you bite at it, but you get into the middle of the swarm, and you're throwing your head around, and you just scatter this whole swarm. So there's a swarm down.
Awesome. Enraged by my injury.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, like it's you end up like you're bleeding, right? Like you're bleeding from
But
a
you
bunch
can't
of
tell
different...
the rat's blood from my blood, and I'm like shaking
Yes!
with adrenaline.
It's very intimidating and gross. This rat swarm in desperation is gonna lunge at Cornelius instead of Scout. Does a 7 hit Cornelius?
No.
It
doesn't.
I don't understand why these dice aren't working. Okay, it's very intimidated by Scout. It doesn't like what's happening at all. And we are back up to the top of the round. The Great Rat Leader is going to, in defense, slam its fists into Triss's face.
It can try.
Does a 13 hit? No, that doesn't hit.
Nope.
They just sort of slide off you ineffectually. Like it does nothing. Next up is Caffeine. What is Caffeine, the Chihuahua, gonna do next? That was a stream suggestion. Thank you, stream. I can see captions. You want to run towards the big one? Yep, you want to do that and use... You can use sneak attack damage if there is somebody next to the creature you're with. We can't hear you on stream. I'm just reading your captions. So
I forgot I muted.
That's okay. I can still read your captions. Did I get it anywhere near right?
Yes, yeah. Like, can I go to the rat and use sneak attack on it?
Yes. So if you're so I moved you closer to the really big rat. Are you talking about the really big rat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way the sneak attack will work is if you land damage on it, you'll get additional sneak attack damage because Scout is distracting him. Scout's right next to him.
So I can dagger and then sneak attack.
The sneak attack is just an additional damage. It's not... It really shouldn't be called sneak attack. It should just be called sneak damage, I think.
Right.
So just one or the other?
No.
Yeah. No.
Hang on.
No. Okay, sorry.
You will... It's okay. So, backing up. So you will attack with your dagger. And an advantage of you being a rogue is that you're so stealthy all the time that if what you're attacking is even a little distracted, then you will be able to deal additional damage. So your dagger will go that much deeper or in that much of a better place to hurt it because it's distracted.
Oh, I see.
Everything you're fighting is going to be distracted by somebody if they're close enough. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right? Hope the internet doesn't disagree with me. But that's how we're going to play this particular game. So, you're attacking the rat with your dagger.
Do I have to roll a d20?
You roll a d20 and you add 5.
15.
That hits. Pretty sure that hits. It does hit. These are just rats. So you're going to roll a d4. You're going to add 3.
And I have the enlarged thing, do I?
Yes.
Yes, so that gives you advantage on this roll. You already hit it. So what advantage for this roll meant was you could have rolled your d20 twice if you hadn't hit it the first time and taken the higher roll. But you did hit it, so that's good. It's not going to affect the level of damage you do. It just affects advantage.
Oh, I thought I'd do extra d4. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I think your weapons do one per...
I think you might be right. You're right. It does. I just flipped over to it. Thank you. Thank you for calling that out.
Oh no, I was also
I'm so
asking because I
sorry.
didn't know.
You are right. You are bigger. So you land your attack. You're going to roll 1d4 for your regular dagger. You're going to roll an additional d4 because your dagger's bigger. What is that number?
9.
9.
Total.
Now you're going to roll me 2d6 or a d6 twice and tell me what each of those numbers is.
Both 3. 3. They're both 3.
So an additional 6 damage. So you're rolling 15 damage on your turn from one bitty little dagger. Well, I guess it's a bigger dagger now. Big dagger, yeah.
It's a big dagger.
Basically a short sword at this point. Woo! You're doing a bunch of damage on all your turns. This is really fun. All right.
Small but terrible.
Yes.
Buddy.
Tiny but mighty, for sure. Next up is Cornelius. What do you got?
I want the big rat to be gone. I will cast Magic Missile at first level.
Dang, son. All right.
Do I roll for Magic Missile?
No, you don't. It just does damage, but let me do math really quick.
Okay.
My brain is so tired. Okay. Yes, Magic Missile just happens, so just
Nice.
tell me what damage is happening and how many darts.
It's first level, 3 glowing darts of magical force,
Yes.
and it's a total of 4 damage.
Can you use your bless to make that?
Bless is on.
Oh, do I have bless?
Yeah,
Do you have-
man. I blessed you.
You
What
do
does
have bless.
so how does bless work? What do I...
Bless gives you. It only affects attack rolls and saving rolls.
Okay.
Oh, like if I have to roll? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gives you a plus 1d4 to what.
The
So
attack
basically,
roll. Yeah.
what I have triggered in my head is if any of you miss a roll, I'm gonna go, but you have bless or a saving
Yeah.
throw.
Yes.
Makes
So,
sense.
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So you land 4 damage. That is good. So this giant monstrous rat has been stabbed and magic missiled, and it is roaring in pain and confusion. While it is doing that, these rat swarms are gonna run up and try and attack this giant chihuahua. Does a 12 hit? No, it doesn't hit. I was
No.
just looking at your sheet. This one's gonna roll up and try and hit you. Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
That's gonna be a -7. You're gonna take 7 piercing damage.
7 damage.
The third rat swarm of this particular group is gonna try to aid its master, but it doesn't get close enough to be able to attack Triss. And then next up is Scout.
I'm pretty badly damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
Do you have anything that'll help with that?
I'm not totally sure I do. I have cure wounds. Can I use that on myself?
I think you can. Oh, it's up to the GM.
Or maybe I just carry on fighting.
It's a creature that you touch, so I don't think it applies to you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to.
But you do have ranged weapons, so
Yeah.
you could maybe move out of the way. Although this swarm
But
is
that would
right
give
up on you.
everyone an attack of opportunity on me, right?
That is true, yes.
So I'm gonna attack the. Can I tell who's more damaged, the giant rat or the swarm?
The swarms do
By
seem to be
looking
a
at
lot squishier, and this huge rat is taking damage but still moving.
I think I'm gonna go for him then.
Oh, the internet has informed. Well, my friend has informed me that you can use cure wounds on yourself. So if you'd like to do that, you can.
What does the internet think I should do? I'm gonna just go ahead and
Internet?
big giant rat.
What should she do?
I'm gonna attack the giant rat, and I'm going to can I use Slayer's Prey before I attack it, which means it would take an extra 1d6 damage. It's a bonus action.
Yeah, you can use your bonus action ahead of
Okay.
your actions. Let me just find Slayer's Prey.
I'm designating this creature my Slayer's Prey, and it lasts until I designate a different creature, or until I finish a short or long rest.
Yes, and it gives you an extra 1d6 damage on the first...
Assuming I hit.
The first hit. Yeah,
okay,
with a weapon attack.
Let's... with a weapon attack. And I only have a longbow. And I can't hit it with a longbow.
Not, you'd roll at disadvantage if you tried to shoot it from here, because it's right next to you.
Okay, so sorry for wasting everybody's time.
You're not...
I'm gonna bite the giant rat.
You're not wasting anybody's time.
I wish I had some short-range weapons.
I know.
Okay.
I will say that you can still do Slayer's Prey, because it'll just stick. Right? So if you get to a point where you can longbow it, so we'll say you've done that.
I'm biting him.
Great. What's that do?
20.
That hits. Yeah, that super hits.
Okay.
Was it a nat 20?
It was not.
Okay.
And then 7 points of damage.
Perfect. Okay, so you take a huge chunk out of its elbow. It is screaming at you at this point. Like, its howls are getting increasingly high-pitched as you guys do this damage. It's getting more confused. It doesn't seem to be as intelligent as the rat leader in the back. Triss, speaking of the rat leader in the back, Triss, what are you doing?
I'm gonna kill it.
Fair enough. How are you going to kill it?
I am going to take out my short sword, and I'm gonna do my bonus action with it of having the 2-weapon
Right.
attack.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm gonna murder him, hopefully.
Hopefully.
In the nicest way possible.
Sure. Yes. Because Triss is very nice. It's the ears.
You know, it is. It is. I'm very adorable.
Yeah. That tracks.
All right. I rolled a nat 20.
Holy crap!
So
Let's go.
plus 5. So 25.
Okay. So you hit him in something I forgot to go over earlier. So I will position this to you, and if you're like, yes, I love it, then we'll do it. And if you hate it, then I'll do something else. One thing I like to do in my campaigns is when you roll a nat 20, what you're supposed to do is double the damage. What I like to do is say that one of those damages, right? What do you roll for damage on a short sword? D8? 6?
So here, my short sword is 1d6 plus 5.
So instead of rolling the d6 twice, you roll it once and you just add it to the max damage for a d6, which is 6. It's called brutal criticals. It applies to both sides. It'll apply to NPCs if they're rolling nat 20s as well, but I've been rolling terribly, so if you'd like to use it, then if everybody's okay with doing that, let's get yays or nays now, or questions.
I don't understand it. I just want to stab it a bunch of times. So
okay,
that sounds good to me.
We'll say we
Brutal
use it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so roll me a d6.
Okay, and then do I do it twice because I'm using the 2 swords?
You are going to do it twice, but I like to resolve things one at a time, or I'll lose track. So roll me a d6 and add...
Add how much? There's a lot of numbers.
Roll me a d6 and add 5.
7.
And then add 6 again, which is 11.
Wait. Okay.
Because I'm doubling your d6 damage. Yeah,
because
okay.
you rolled
a nat 20. Great. That's
Gotcha.
one short sword. Let's do the second one.
Okay, so the d6 plus
Nope.
5.
Hang on.
So
For
the
your second short sword, you're going to roll another d20 to see if it hits.
Oh, right. I rolled a 15 plus the 5 modifier, so a 20.
Yes. Okay. So that does hit. It's not a critical. So you're just going to roll your d6.
Okay.
Plus 5.
So I rolled. So 10 total.
Okay. What does this look like to you as you completely destroy this great rat leader?
Oh man, all my hopes and dreams,
Yeah.
fruition in one great moment. Yeah, just think like I'm trying to think like Kill Bill, like a scene from Kill Bill in the end
Okay.
where she's just like going through the Crazy 88.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Perfect. So you do that, and he falls to the ground, and the whistle, which was clenched in his palm, tinks to the, like, it falls out of his hand and tinks to the step. And as he dies, he lets out a great cry, and all of the other rats in the room freeze, and then they run. So you guys have an option of letting them run away or not ending combat and trying to kill the rest of them. I super recommend you let them run away, because
Let them run away. I'm gonna die.
yeah.
I mean, I want to.
Literally, I'm gonna die.
Well, as this rat swarm starts to move away from you, you can take attacks of opportunity if you'd like, but they're going to keep moving.
Here, I have no ability to heal anything.
And
Not very
you've
cool.
already taken your attack. So, Triss, this rat swarm's going to run away. This rat swarm's going to run away. This rat swarm's going to try and disengage from Scout. Do you want to take an attack, Scout?
100% no.
Cool. This one runs away. This one's going to try and run away from Caffeine. Do you want to take an attack of opportunity, Caffeine?
Will that kill me?
No. If it tries to attack back, it'll kill you, but I can safely tell you that at least the rat swarms are definitely going to try and run away. So
I mean, I'm pissed off. They hurt me. So.
they really did. Okay, why don't you roll for an attack then?
D20, right?
Yes.
Does a 13 hit? 13?
It super does, yeah. Just barely. Go ahead and roll damage.
Wait, which is... Can I use a dagger to do that? Or do I just...
No, you can use a dagger to do that, yeah.
Okay.
So D4.
Oh, I used do it D4s, right? Do I still have the enlarge?
You do. So roll 2 D4s and then add 3.
That's 6 and 3. Like 4 plus 2 and 3? Is that how it works?
Yes, it is. So 6 plus, so 9 damage, yeah.
9.
You actually destroy that rat swarm. And so as you're slashing at it with your dagger, like, you get all of the rats in this swarm are dead. What about the other swarm that's gonna try and run away from you?
Wait, I can still attack them?
Yep. It also provokes an attack of opportunity as it tries to run away from you.
That's pretty cool. Wait, I'll try to hit them again.
Yeah. Roll me another D20.
20.
The internet says you can't do it, but I'm gonna let you do it because I think it's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
but so internet, yes, I know you can't do a second reaction, but I think it's funny that this Chihuahua is murdering everything in her path. So I'm letting this happen. But thank you, internet, for letting us know that. You rolled a natural 20?
No, it's 17.
A total 20? Okay, go ahead and roll damage. So 2d4 plus 3.
Oh, 5 plus 6 plus 3. I can't 5 plus 6 plus 3. 14?
Yep.
14.
Actually, how did you roll a 5 and a 6 on a d4?
With a... Oh, sorry!
That's okay.
I was holding the 4-sided cube.
That's so fine. Yeah.
It's 1, 1, and 3.
Great. So that's 5 damage. So this one's not murdered, but it is
I'm
much.
sorry.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It is much smaller than when it started, and it runs away into this pipe. This rat is gonna take a step back, which will technically not provoke attacks of opportunity because you've all taken attacks except for Cornelius, but it wasn't close enough, and it's gonna eye all of you very carefully. what are you guys gonna do with this monstrous rat?
I mean, I still have Slayer's Prey on him and
Mm-hmm.
moving to a position where I could do a ranged weapon attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate him.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Is it allowed?
Let's say, so Caffeine, let's say if we're gonna engage in combat with the monstrous rat, let's do this in initiative order so everyone gets a turn. And just for simplicity's sake, we'll start at the top with Caffeine. How would you like to attack this monstrous rat?
I mean, I guess I look at Caffeine and I look at Cornelia. Shall we?
Yeah. You guys wanna murder this thing?
You wanna get this asshole? Or should we just let him run away?
I got a natural 20. I kind of want to kill it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, is Cornelius and Triss in on this? Yeah?
Oh, you know it.
All right.
You know I've got like blood and veins in my teeth, and I'm ready to turn
I
around,
think
serve it up.
I think Wordman's
you're muted.
in, but he's muted. So, or Cornelius is in, but he's muted. But I see a yes and a hello. So yeah, so we're in. All right, Caffeine, roll max damage, or sorry, roll critic. Ugh. All right, you have an enlarged weapon, so that's 2d4 plus 3 normally. So we're gonna say that you roll those 2d4 and tell me what that number is.
3 and 3.
So that's 6 plus 3 is 9. And because we're doing brutal criticals, that's technically plus another 8. So that's 17 damage.
That's my
Okay.
first 20.
Yes. So that is excellent. Next up is Cornelius. What are you gonna do?
Cornelius? I guess I will. Yeah. Okay.
Got any cool spells?
Yeah, I would have to drop the enlarge though. I'm gonna drop the enlarge
Okay.
on my turn,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna cast Flaming Sphere.
Oh, is that gonna hurt anybody?
Oh.
No, I think
You
I
can
have a thing
position
that
it.
lets me be like, oh, this guy doesn't get hurt.
Oh, it's a 5-foot diameter. Yeah, so you can put it in that square.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within range. Your range is 60 feet, so monstrous rat definitely within range.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make a dex saving throw against your save.
Yeah, it's
30.
30.
I rolled a 14, so technically he saves.
Okay, that's
So, but you're still gonna roll 2d6, and I'll just take half as much damage.
fine. Okay, that's a 1, and then a 6. So
Okay.
7.
So divided by 2 is 3.5, so it'll take 3 flame damage.
Right.
And the sphere stays up. So as a bonus do you have to use a bonus action to take enlarge down?
I'm not sure how that works.
Well, today we're going to say that you just drop concentration on it. So you still have a bonus action. On your bonus action for Flaming Spear, you can move it up to 30 feet. And it'll technically do 2d6 damage to another creature if you'd like. But I'm now realizing that this is the only creature in here, so
Yeah, so like,
none of this makes sense. Ignore me. Next up is Scout. What's Scout gonna do?
Okay, I only rolled a 15
That does
to
hit.
attack. It does hit?
Yep.
Okay, so then I've got my Slayer's Prey
Yes. Let's
on
look at
this
this.
thing. So we're gonna go normal damage with the longbow is 6, and the Slayer's Prey additional damage plus 6 is 12.
Okay.
12 damage
This
with the
thing
longbow.
is barely standing. It's bleeding from everywhere. It's only got one eye. We'll say that arrow went into its eye. It's
nice squishy sound.
Listing like it is on its last leg. Like he does not look good. So Triss, what do you do with this information?
Oh, thank you guys for setting him up. Now I'm gonna knock his ass. Let's do this. I'm gonna do a. Let's go with an unarmed strike, because I'm just really, really mad.
You're just gonna ram into it?
Well, you said he was almost gone, right?
Yeah.
It's still +5.
It will, it's +5 to hit, but it will only do 4 damage.
Oh, well then screw that. Let's do bite. Bite sounds like fun.
Okay. Triss here. Yeah, so go ahead and bite at it. So you run forward and you latch right onto it.
Okay. I rolled a 14.
That hits.
Okay. Damage. 7.
7 total.
Yes.
So once again, what does it look like when you completely, utterly end the life of a giant rat?
So you know, like in professional wrestling, when you like climb up and then you do the jump where you shove your feet out and you hit something birds and do like a backflip and like ha ha ha. That's what it looks like. Spandex and all.
Triss is wearing spandex.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, of course.
I'm just making sure my mental image of Triss is correct. So so you have, unless I was not clear, you have utterly murdered this giant rat. Well done.
Yes. Teamwork.
So there's the body of this huge monstrous rat, like half in and half out of the water. There's the body of the great rat leader with the whistle like a foot away from his dead hand. All of the swarms have run away, and there's just the drip drip of this gross liquid, and you're breathing in this room, and the whistle is laying across the way, and it is yours once more. As you're realizing the magnitude of what you've done, the guardian hound appears again, as if it's hovering a couple inches off the gross water, and he nods approvingly at you guys. What do you guys do?
I will
Bark
sit
at him.
down.
Do we have
Perfect.
the whistle?
It's across the room, laying next to the...
I want the whistle.
Okay, so you go pick up the whistle, and...
Can I blow it?
Yeah, you can.
Will it heal me? I want to blow it and see if it heals me.
As you blow it, a great spectral dog appears to you. It's like the fresco that you saw, which were sort of silhouettes of dogs. So it feels like a silhouette of a dog. And it tips its head back and unleashes a deafening, spirit-lifting bark that echoes around the chamber.
It stopped me from barking.
I thought I did something wrong for a minute.
No, you did not. Any dog that hears the bark receives the effects of Beacon of Hope and Bless for 1 hour. In addition, the bark acts like a level 3 cleric using Channel Divinity Turn Undead. With the blessing of the Lost Bork and the Guardian Hound upon you, and the Rat Conclave defeated, your minds turn to the future. Gathering the various treasures secreted around the room, you discover enough coin for new equipment, hot food, a warm fire, and a comfy place to curl up for the night. Tonight is a night for belly rubs and biscuits, and tomorrow you can set out to greet whatever fresh challenges await you. Adventurers, you have succeeded in today's challenge to retrieve the great whistle of the Lost Bark. Well done.
Belly rubs and biscuits for everyone.
Belly rubs and biscuits for everyone. And that's it. You guys have succeeded.
Yay.
All those spells and benefits, did I get the healing I need? Or am I gonna go and get that in town?
You're gonna go get that in town.
Okay.
So you guys can
Let's go get that, because I'm bleeding out.
you can absolutely do that. So you guys, if you use these characters again, I would say that talk to your GM about and be like, hey, the last time I used this, I got these effects. Can I use them for the next hour? And see if they'll let you do that, because that's kind of fun. Stream, we have loved you being here with us, and one of the things I like to do at the ends of my sessions is ask people to ask the players to nominate each other for role-playing points, like good role-playing moments, and it affects the next time we play session-wise. Now, we're probably not going to play again together as a group, so that part's not really necessary, but the thing that I like about asking for role-playing nominations is that we get to revisit some really fun moments from the session. So if you guys don't mind, I would love any sort of nominations you have for particularly good role-playing moments. And I love hearing from the stream as well, if anybody wants to call out any moments they loved.
I mean, Caffeine hulking out is kind of like the best thing ever.
That was
like,
so good.
Tiny chihuahua, like the idea of a tiny chihuahua doubling in size, 10 pounds instead of 5.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
And
it's the heart, you know.
It following the whirlwind was so beautifully timed as well. That was so good. What else? Any other good?
I thought Cornelius was very masterful with his magical item timing and use.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was very solid. I didn't even think of that. But that means I don't think you guys missed at all, whereas I missed a bunch. So that was we finished in record time because you guys landed every hit. So well done, Cornelius, for not messing up the win streak there. Yeah, any other good moments?
Triss was amazing. Triss was an excellent character, just all round. Excellent attitude. It was fun.
I like that.
I had some really good rolls.
I like that you ended up ending the life of so many different things. Like you were the last hit on everything.
Right. Yeah. This actually.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
I really loved playing with you guys. I really like the way you approached this. You were very methodical. Your characters had very strong representation. Like you guys really like breathed some life into these characters. I really saw Triss and Scout and Cornelius and Caffeine running around in these maps. I thought it was really good. So thank you for playing with me today.
Thank you so much.
You were amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Stream, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We love it when you do. I will now end this stream, and then I will walk my players through how to keep their character sheets. We used D&D Beyond today, which is one of my favorite things to do with character sheets. Unfortunately, it's not very voiceover accessible, so that's not great. Or screen reader accessible, so that's not great. But for my sighted players, it is a very good tool. I am using Arkenforge to build my maps. I got these maps from the module, which you can get online for free at Animal Adventures, which is the group that makes Dungeons and Doggies. You can also buy miniatures, and there's a couple of other adventures. They've got miniatures for doggos, and they've got miniatures for cats. They now have awakened cats, which are different from Tabaxi and super adorable, and I will play a Persian soon, and I'm very excited. So Animal Adventures, Arkenforge, D&D Beyond, and we use Discord today for our communication. So that's how we're getting the sound and how the players are seeing the screen. So Twitch has a bit of a delay on it, so I project the player screen right to them through Discord, which is quite handy. We also used webcaptioner.com for our captions. Yes, the captions were not exactly 100% correct all the time, but someday they will be because people like us use them. It'll only get better, hopefully. So apologies for any mistranslations, but hopefully that was helpful for some of our community. I think that covers all the tools we used today. So with that, I will leave you guys. I think you're all great, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye, Stream.
Yay.
Bye, stream.
Bye.